Hi guys, and welcome to the third session in our cardiac rehab stand-in series. This session is now designed to progress on from session 2, and we're going to add some extra exercises in and increase the time that we spend on each exercise. So in session 2 we did 12 minutes, today we're going to do 15 minutes. Some of you might have joined us from session 2 if you found that a little bit too easy. And again, the same thing applies here. If you complete this session and you find that you're RPEing below 13 for the majority of the session and it feels too easy, then move on to the next session. Equally, if it feels challenging or it feels just comfortable for you, then stick with this for a few more sessions. Alternatively, if it feels a bit too difficult and you're RPEing at above 14 for most of the session, then go back to the second session. Again, if you haven't watched the RPE video, make sure you go back and watch it so you know what we're talking about and what levels to be exercising at. So for today's session, all I'm going to use is a dining chair, some small weights. I've got some tins of beans. You can use some dumbbells if you've got them, tins of beans, bottles of water or resistance bands if you have them. But don't worry if you haven't got them. And I'm also going to use a step-up box for today's workout. Now if you haven't got a step-up box, you can do these exercises on a bottom stair as long as you've got a banister to hold on to. Please give the following safety information a good read. Okay, so now you've given that a read, it's time to get started with the warm-up. So we say it all the time and we'll repeat ourselves again. It's really important to warm up before any exercise. It's important to get the heart rate up, to get the body temperature up a little bit, the breathing rate up a bit, and the coronary blood circulation increased. So we're going to start, same as we've done a few times, with some heel digs. Okay, so we're going to tap the right foot first. Let's get marching then. So right heel and then the left heel. And again, for the warm-up, we're not going to use any weights. We'll add those during the workout. So we're just getting those legs moving just to wherever feels comfortable. And for today's workout, we're going to do similar to session 2, but we're going to add some different exercises in. And instead of spending a minute on each exercise, we're going to spend 1 minute and 15 seconds on each exercise. You're still going to have a rest in between, and I'm going to explain what we'll do on the next exercise during that rest period. So that's your time to catch your breath, and then we'll start again on the next exercise. Okay, so in a moment we're going to take it out into a side tap, and we'll go right leg first. Okay, let's tap out to the side. Taking this to a pace that feels comfortable for you, but ideally when warming up and cooling down, we want your RPE score to be around 11. So we want it to feel quite light. We don't want it to feel too difficult for a warm-up. We don't want you too out of breath straight away. And again, during the workout, at any point, if you feel like you need to have a rest, slow the pace down, bring it down to a steady march so you avoid stopping all of a sudden. You want to keep your feet moving if you need to stop, even keep your toes wiggling. Okay, keeping those toes tapping just to wherever feels comfortable. You haven't got to go too far out if it's uncomfortable. Okay, let's take it into a march now then. Just lifting those feet off the floor. You can add a little swing in the arms if you need to. Whatever feels comfortable. And we're just going to gradually increase the pace throughout the workout. You should still feel comfortable at this point. Breathing rate should be nice and comfortable. During the workout, we want you to be able to respond in full sentences if somebody were to talk to you. We don't want you to feel so out of breath that you could only answer in one word. At that point, slow it down, keep the feet moving, but catch your breath. Okay, so now we're just going to raise the knees a little bit higher, okay? So we're just lifting them up a little bit higher, just to wherever's comfortable. You haven't got to go too high if it's uncomfortable. Alternating those legs. If you need to hold on to a chair for support, by all means do so. You can stand side on, or you can stand with both hands on the back of the chair if you need that support or that balance. Okay, keep those legs moving. And if there's any exercises that you're unsure of, or anything that you're concerned about, please speak to the cardiac rehab team prior to doing the exercises. Okay, so we're going to run through those ones again now then. So we're going to tap out with the right heel. And we're just picking the pace up a little bit more now. Still should feel comfortable. If at any point during the workout you need to stop and have a drink, that's absolutely fine, but try and keep the feet moving. So something like this is fine, or your side taps, or your march, or your toe wiggles, that's what we want. Keeping those feet moving again, and then in a moment we're going to take it back out into the side tap. Okay, so let's go with the right foot out first and tap to the side. Right and then left. Just picking that pace up a little bit now. But again, should still feel comfortable. If you're getting a bit out of breath, slow it back down. And then again in a moment we're going to take it back into the march with a little bit of a swing in the arms. Okay, so back into that march, just a gentle swing in the arms. And we want you to try and complete these sessions a few times a week if you can do, or add in a couple of walks as well during the week. So ideally you're doing some exercise about 5 times per week. And again, as soon as you feel that this session's become comfortable, move on to the next session. Keeping those knees going, that march going, and in a moment we're going to raise the knees a little bit higher again. Try and keep your posture nice and upright on all of these exercises that we're doing today. Okay, so we're going to lift the knees that little bit higher now, just to wherever feels comfortable. If it's causing any discomfort in the hips, take the legs a little bit lower down. Again, use the chair for support if needed. You should start to feel a little bit warmer now. Breathing rate should be increased a little bit. Your body's working a bit harder, so that's normal. Okay, and in a moment, we're going to take it back down to a march, but we're going to get the arms moving as well. Okay, so let's take it back into the march, and we're going to bring in a bicep curl with the arms. So we're not using any weights for the warm-up, but we're getting the arms and the legs moving at the same time. Bit of coordination going now. Doesn't matter if you get a bit mixed up as long as you're moving. Keeping those arms and legs moving. And then we're going to change the arms into a chest press in a moment. Okay, so we're going to bring the palms of the hands up to the shoulders, palms facing forwards, and let's push forwards and backwards. Just trying to keep the feet moving if we can do. If you struggle to keep the walk or the march going, just wiggle your toes. But if you can, try and keep that march going, or you can even do a toe tap as you're pushing the hands forwards. That might be a little bit easier to coordinate. Perhaps I should have done that in the first place. Again, no weights involved in this, just forwards and backwards, nice and relaxed kind of movement. Keep your breathing fluid throughout it all. Don't hold your breath for any exercise. Should be feeling a little bit warmer now. And in a moment, we're going to keep the feet moving, but we're going to take it out into a side raise. Okay, so the hands come by the sides, and we're going to raise the arms out to the sides and back down. Okay, so up and down. You might want to tap the heels forwards at this point, or you might want to take it into a bit of a march. I think this one's a little bit easier to coordinate with a march, to be honest. So that's what I'm going to do, but you can pick whichever one you want to. We're just getting the arms and the legs moving together. Okay, keeping that movement going. And then in a moment, we're going to try and keep the feet moving and do either a shoulder roll or a shoulder shrug, whichever works for you. Okay, so we're going to take the arms beside you and let's roll the shoulders backwards. That's 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5. Let's do 5 more. That's 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 1 more. Okay, and then let's do 10 forwards. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 2 more. 9. One last one, that's 10. Okay, so give the arms a bit of a shake, loosen them off a little bit. Let's give the wrists 5 rotations. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5 more. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one last one. That's 5. Okay, let's give the ankles 5 rotations. So you might want to hold on for some support at this point. Let's go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Opposite way. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Put the foot down, left foot. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Other way. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so we're ready for some exercise now then. So like I say, we're going to do 12 stations and we're going to do 1 minute and 15 seconds on each station. You're going to have a rest in between, and I'm going to explain in that rest period what we're going to do for the next exercise. So first exercise that we're going to do is a mini squat, okay? So you might want to use the back of a chair for this. You don't have to use a chair if you don't want to. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the feet hip distance apart, and we're going to do a small squat down and back up. You haven't got to go all the way down if you can't go all the way down. Just go to wherever's comfortable. And as you're doing this, you're keeping your chest nice and upright, okay? So we're not leaning as we're doing it. We're keeping the chest, the head, the shoulders upright, small bend and back up again, okay? Like I say, if you don't need the chair, don't use the chair, but if you need it, then by all means use it, okay? I'm going to pop the timer on. Okay, so feet hip distance apart, and let's go then. So small bend down and back up. Chest nice and upright, nice fluid movement on this one. Try and keep your heels flat on the floor, so you're driving all the weight down through the heels. Really getting the legs working on this one. Now if you want to increase the intensity, you can take the squat down a bit further, or you can just increase the speed. If you struggle with any knee problems, just go to wherever's comfortable within the knees. Okay, we're keeping that going. Doing really well on this one. So this is a progression on from your sit to stand that you may have done in the previous sessions. If this is a bit difficult, you can always take it back to that sit to stand. Should start to feel it working the legs now. We've got another 20 seconds on this one. Doing really well. Again, just a mini squat. We haven't got to go all the way. Just a small bend. We're under 10 seconds now. And we're into that first rest. Okay, fab. So we're into the first rest period. Try and keep the feet moving or the heels tapping or a march going as you're resting. So your next exercise we're going to do then is a bicep curl. You've done them enough times now, but we're going to try and have a bit of a march or a bit of a heel tap as we're doing them. Okay, let's go then. So let's tap the heels this time. And we're curling the arms up and down, but we're increasing the pace a little bit this time. And we're perhaps using a weight if you've got them. I've only got tins of beans, so they'll do for me. But if you've got some small dumbbells, you can use them. You can add a bottle of water in and fill it up to the appropriate level. Or you might have some resistance bands that you can use as well. All of those can act to add a little bit more resistance to the muscles and make them work that bit harder. Okay, we're doing really well on this one. Getting into that nice rhythm and keeping the breathing fluid throughout. Try not to hold your breath at any point. We've got 20 seconds left, and then you're into your next rest. Keeping that going, 10 more seconds. Okay, and there's your rest. So we'll pop those weights down. Like I say, when you're resting, just try and keep the feet moving, a little bit of a march as you're having a sip of your water. Stops the blood pressure and heart rate from dropping. Next exercise, you can use the chair or you can stand on the spot. We're going to do the knee raises, but we're going to add in a shoulder press at the same time. Okay, so let's start with the right knee, up and down. If you need to rest on the chair, just take one of the hands and rest on the chair. If you want to make it that little bit harder, you can hold some weights in your hands, but make sure you keep it light for this exercise. We don't want to be pushing too heavy a weight above the head. And just take it to a pace that you feel comfortable with. You haven't got to stretch your arms all the way up above the head, just take them to wherever you feel comfortable. Keeping this going, this one's a good workout for the legs and the arms. And again, if you need to rest during any of these exercises, or if it becomes a bit difficult, take the arms out first. Try and keep the legs going if you can do. If it's still a bit difficult, take it back down to a march and slow it down. But if you can, we've got 10 more seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, and we're back into that rest. So take some nice deep breaths and catch your breath. Have a sip of water if you need to. Keep the toes wiggling and the feet moving. Next one is we're going to do your side raises. So we're going to stay on the spot, but as we do this, we're going to add that march in at the same time. Okay, so let's go. So arms up and down. And I think adding that extra 15 seconds on from the previous workout, you can really notice it. So if you do need to slow down at any point, that's fine. If the arms get heavy, you can take the weights out first, put the weights down, do it without the weights. If the arms are still getting a bit heavy, take the arms out and take it back down to that march. There's always options on these. And like we say, we want you to be exercising to a level that you feel comfortable at, but you know you're doing something. We don't want it to feel too easy, but we also don't want it to feel too hard. So just because I'm doing 1 minute and 15 seconds on these, doesn't mean that you have to if it's becoming difficult. Listen to your body and be sensible. Another 15 seconds here, and then you've got that rest again. Doing really well. 5 seconds. And we're back into that rest. Brilliant. Okay, so the next exercise then, we're going to do a half jack. So it's basically a side step with a little reach at the same time. Okay, so we're going to go over and over. So we're alternating the legs. So this is your half jack. So we're going to start with the right leg out to the side. Okay, let's go. If it's difficult for you to get your arm above the head on this one, then reach across the body. You can still get just as good a workout with a reach, but work within your own limits and your own levels. If this is too easy, you can hold a weight in the hands again, but you don't want a weight that's too heavy for this one. Okay, keeping those feet moving again. If it gets too difficult, take the arms out first. Try and keep that side tap going, but slow it down if you need to. We've got 30 seconds left on this one, and then we're into another rest. If at any point you need longer to rest, just pause the video and take as long as you need. You don't have to get started straight away if you don't feel ready for it. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds and then we're resting again. And we're back into that rest. Fabulous. So, having a sip of that water if you need to. Next one, we're going to do a chest press. So we'll use the weights again. Hands at shoulder height, pushing forwards, bringing them back. Okay, let's go. So as we do this, let's try and tap those heels at the same time. So we're not holding the arms out and tensing them, we're just moving them forwards and backwards. And we're almost halfway through the workout, so you're doing fabulously. Keep it up. Keep a nice relaxed rhythm going if you can do. Get into the swing of it and you find it becomes a little bit easier. Nice fluid breathing throughout it all. Okay, we've got another 30 seconds left, and then you've got another rest. Again, if it's a bit difficult with the weights, don't use the weights, you can pop the weights down. You by all means don't have to use the weights for these ones. I can certainly feel it in my arms now, to be honest. So if you want to drop the weights down, please do so. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds and we're into another rest. Okay, fab. So pop those weights down for a moment. Catch that breath. And the next one we're going to do is a butt kick. But as we do this, I want to add a bicep curl in as well. Okay, you can go a bit quicker and add a bounce in if you wish to, or you can hold some weights. Okay, so let's start right leg first, and we're kicking the bum. If this is difficult to do without holding onto a chair, you can hold onto the chair and just take the arms out of it. So we're kicking just to wherever's comfortable for you, up and down. Pick your own level. If you want to take the arms out, if it's getting a little bit difficult, you don't have to have the arms in this one. If you want to take the pace down a bit, you can do. Equally, if you want to take the pace up a bit, go a bit quicker and add that little bounce in on the toes, then that's great. Pick the level that works for you, okay? You don't have to be doing it at the same level as me. Go with whichever you feel comfortable with. Doing really well. Let's keep that moving if we can do. And we're over halfway now. There we go, keep going, keep that breathing going. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, there we go, we're into another rest. So have that sip of water, keep those toes wiggling, feet moving, and the next one we're going to do is the upright row. So I'm sure if you've done these videos previously, you will have done an upright row. I'm going to use the weights, you don't have to, but you can if you want to. Let's go up and down. Shoulders are going upwards, so we're not tucking the arms in and the elbows in. The elbows are going up and out, up and out. And again, if we can, let's have a little bit of a march as we're doing this. Okay, so the weights are quite close into the body for this one. So we'll go side on. You can see a little bit clearer. We're going up and down with a nice steady movement. If you want to go a bit quicker, go a bit quicker. If you want to go a bit slower, that's fine. If you want to take the weights out, take the weights out. If it's difficult to do the upright row whilst moving your feet, keep your feet still, but give your toes a little wiggle in your trainers. I don't know if you can see mine, but they're having a bit of a wiggle in there. Trying to keep those feet moving. And if you need to rest, like I say, keep the feet moving when you're resting. Don't stop all of a sudden. Okay, we're doing really well. Not many more to go now. Elbows up, keep those elbows up. Okay, brilliant, pop those weights down. So, next exercise then we're going to do a side step with a side raise, okay? So we're going to step and we're going to step. If you want to add a weight in, you can add a weight in. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Okay, so we're going to start with the right foot first. Let's go. Okay, so we're going out and in. So it's sort of similar to your half jack and your other side raises and your side steps that you've done. And like I say, if you want to add that small weight in, add that small weight in. But if it becomes difficult, take the weight down and pop it on the floor. So not many more to go after this, you've done really well. Keep it going for the last few. If it gets a little bit difficult, take the arms down and you can always take it back into the side step if you wish to. But if you can, add those arms back in. I almost lost my coordination then. We're almost there. Okay, perfect. Back into that rest then. So catch your breath, have a sip of water if you need to. The next one I'm going to demonstrate is your calf raise. So use the back of the chair or a worktop if you need a bit of support or a bit of balance. Feet hip distance apart, and we're going to raise up onto the toes and back down. Let's go. So up and down. You haven't got to hold them there. We're just trying to keep that movement going. Keep the chest nice and upright as you're doing this. Keep breathing. Up and down. You don't have to use the chair for support on this one. If you don't need it, you can stay on the spot and just go up and down on the toes. If you want to make this harder and you have got a step-up box, you can do it on the edge of that as long as you hold on to something. Make sure that you remain balanced throughout this one. We're almost there, keep going. Okay, so back into that rest. Next exercise you may have done already, we're going to do a wall press. So you can do this on your wall, or if you've got a lower work surface, you can do it off the lower work surface, but hook your thumbs underneath so you don't fall forwards. Okay, so arms at shoulder height, feet hip distance apart. Let's bend down and back up. Stop a couple of inches away from the wall and take your elbows out to the side. The further back you take your feet on this one, the harder it is. So if you end up a little bit more on your toes, you'll feel this working a little bit harder. So pick a level that you feel comfortable with, that you're able to maintain. But if it feels a bit easy, take the feet out. If it feels a bit hard, bring the feet back in. Make sure you don't bang your head into the wall on this one. That breathing nice and steady throughout it all. We're almost there, keep going. Really working the chest muscles and opening up the chest muscles and the shoulders with this one. Okay, back into that rest, and so we've got one more exercise, and that's where I'm going to use the step-up box. So if you've got a step-up box, you can use that. If not, you can use the bottom step or any step that you've got in your house. We're going to step on and off. Okay, so let's lead with the right leg then. Up and down. If you want to add a little swing into the arms with this one, you can do. If you're using a stair, hold on to the banister if you need some support. Don't want you wobbling over. And take this to a pace that you feel comfortable with. So both feet on and both feet off. Make sure you step all the way on. Keep that balance, keep your chest nice and upright. This one's going to get those legs working. Okay, let's switch now and let's lead with the left leg. I might have gone a little bit over halfway there. You'll always have a leg that you lead with, so we want to work them both equally. Okay, perfect. So let's move that out of the way. And we're back into the cool down now, so have a sip of water if you need to. And then we're going to get into that cool down. Okay, so let's start by tapping those heels forwards and backwards. We've done it loads of times now. Really, really important to cool down. Equally as important as warming up. We want to bring that heart rate and blood pressure down nice and steadily. That was a hard workout there, so we don't want you stopping all of a sudden, particularly with some of your cardiac medications that you take. You can get a bit dizzy, a bit lightheaded, sometimes feel a little bit faint. This is going to stop that from happening. It's going to prevent any rhythm problems as well after exercise, so it's really important that we always cool down. Especially if the exercises get more intense, it's really important. So we're just tapping those heels forwards and backwards. No weights involved in the cool down. Taking it to the pace that you feel comfortable. Okay, and then in a moment, let's tap out to the side. Let's go right and then left. I'm sure you've done these plenty of times now, so you'll know what they are. Again, if it starts to feel too difficult, slow the pace down a little bit, or even sit down and do it seated if you need to. Keeping those feet going. Just gradually bringing the pace down. Okay, and then in a moment we're going to take it into a march. Okay, so let's take it into a march. Just a very light swing of the arms now. This shouldn't feel too strenuous. Breathing should be coming back down now. Keeping that march going, and then we'll go through those 3 exercises again. Steady swing of the arms. Nice deep breaths as you're doing these moves. Okay, so let's go back to those heel taps. So forwards and backwards, nice and steady. We want a good 10-minute cool down after we've finished exercising. You've done a good workout there today. If that felt too easy, again, move on to the next session. But if you felt that that was challenging enough for you and you were scoring RPs of 13 and 14, stick with this one for a little while longer, until it starts to feel comfortable or a bit easy, then move on to the next one. The next one, the intensity will increase again a little bit, and the time's going to increase again. Okay, so in a moment we're going to take it out to those side taps again. Okay, let's take the right foot out, just to wherever feels comfortable. This should feel nice and light now, an RPE of around 11. We want 13 to 14, somewhat hard for the majority of the workout for the main exercise part, and 11 for warming up and cooling down. Okay, and in a moment we're going to take it back into that march. Just bringing the pace down again. Okay, let's take it to the march then. light swing of the arms. We're not lifting the legs too high on this one now. Should feel nice and gentle. Keep that march going just a few seconds longer. Okay, and then in a moment we're going to take it out to the heel dig with a bicep curl, but we're going to go slowly and steadily on this one, okay? So as we go out, we're going to bring the arms up. So we're giving the calves a little bit of a stretch now. So we're not going fast. It's more of a stretch on this one now. We're just getting the arms and legs moving a little bit. No weights involved at this moment. We've used them already. Don't need them for the cool down. And if the arms are feeling too heavy, take the arms out and just do the heel tap. Slowing that pace down a little bit more now. Okay, let's take it back to that march and let's do some shoulder rolls. Okay, let's do 10 backwards. That's 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and one last one. That's 10. Let's try 10 forwards if you can do. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. 10. Give the arms a bit of a shake. Let's give the wrist 10 rotations. That's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Let's do 10 torso twists, so hands go in front of you. We're going to twist to one side and back to the middle, out to the other side, to the middle. That's 4 and 5. 2 more. And then let's do some ankle rolls. So hold on to the chair if you need to. Let's do 5 with the right foot. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Then 5 the other way. My ankle's cracking a little bit or clicking. That's okay, it's a bit of air coming out as long as it's not painful. If it's painful, put the foot down. Okay. Same with the left foot. 5 one way. Last one, that's 5, and 5 the other way. Okay, brilliant. So you've finished the 3rd session. So again, see how that felt. If that was a bit too easy and you were scoring RPs of below 13 for the majority of that workout, then move on to the next session. But if you felt that that was challenging and you felt like you were getting a good workout there, stick with that one for a little bit longer. We want you to try and do a few of these per week if you can do, whilst throwing in a few walks or other exercises. So you've got around 5 days where you're getting active and you're getting some exercise there. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.